The most terrifying customs of China. Death is not even a relief, as one can still be forced into marriage. In Hubei Province, the price for a female corpse starts at a minimum of 100,000 yuan, and it's rumored to go up to 300,000 yuan. Most of these marriages are coerced by parents, even to the point of grave robbing. The deceased is married ceremoniously, while the living compete for the hefty dowry, fighting over whether they live or die. Marrying the dead. On March 28, 2005, at the Western Railway Station, a man carried two tightly woven bags on his shoulders, looking anxious. Inside the bags were goods worth 3,000 renminbi, a significant amount at the time, and also an illicit gain. These goods were the bones of 6 women he had just stolen. All these bones were tied to an extremely terrifying custom that had lasted for over 3,000 years, ghost marriage. Ghost marriage, also known as marrying the dead or spirit marriage, first appeared in the Western Zhou period. In Ichu Li by Li Tang, it is written, "It is forbidden for those in mourning to marry and to give away in marriage to the dying." This attitude indicates an attempt to prohibit this custom. Ghost marriage is divided into 2 types. 1. In the first type, the living marries the dead. If a man and a woman are engaged, but one of them tragically passes away, the remaining one still has to use symbolic objects, representing animals, to continue the wedding ceremony for the deceased. If the deceased is a woman and the living man marries her, it is called marrying a ghost wife. Then the groom can marry another living wife, but if the man dies and the woman marries him, it is called embracing the Bai-Vi marriage, different from the former as the woman cannot remarry after that. 2. In the second type, the dead marry the dead. During the Three Kingdoms period, Dao Zeng, the son of Dao Tao, unfortunately died at the age of 13. Dao Tao sought out the Chan family, whose daughter had also died, and solemnly held a ghost marriage. This is a very famous historical episode about the custom of marrying the dead to the dead. When a man and a woman who have not been betrothed during their lifetime die, their families worry about their lonely and insecure afterlife. Therefore, they find someone to marry them posthumously, creating a spiritual bond. This type of ghost marriage, called Tian Tang in ancient times, is now called KTM. In ancient times, Confucianism was the dominant ideology. Ghost marriage is completely contrary to Confucian ethics. Since its inception, ghost marriage has been fiercely criticized by scholars as an extremely absurd custom. However, despite condemnation and prohibition, ghost marriage has been a thriving custom in the country for thousands of years without interruption. The fear of the dead is the reason why this bad custom has stood firm. In the superstitious mindset of that time, people believed in the existence of souls. Moreover, according to the Chinese belief, souls are divided into 2 types, ghosts and ancestral spirits. From ancient times to the present, people have believed that ancestral spirits protect and bless their families and will not harm their descendants. Therefore, whenever there are memorial days or festivals, we must worship our ancestors, due to this reason. In contrast, what they are truly afraid of are ghost souls, especially those who died tragically, souls without a place to return to. Demons have no place to go, so they may hold grudges. In order to calm restless spirits, ghost marriages are believed to be an effective way to appease demons and seek protection. In Chinese tradition, filial piety is highly valued, and arranging ghost marriages is seen as an expression of deep love and care for the deceased. Based on these 2 reasons, despite being condemned, the custom of ghost marriages is still revered and passed down through generations. The existence and prevalence of ghost marriages naturally lead to related incidents. Where there is demand, there will be supply, giving rise to a new profession known as demon matchmaker. The demon matchmaker is similar to regular matchmakers, except they specialize in arranging marriages for the deceased. If the demon matchmaker's realm is considered the home, then the corpse becomes the commodity, and the value of the female corpse becomes increasingly apparent. Families intending to conduct ghost marriages often possess wealth and abundance. Under the temptation of profit, another profession emerges: corpse theft. Even in modern times, this profession still exists in remote areas. March 2004, in Hubei town, Hubei Province, two brothers stole the corpse of a woman to arrange a ghost marriage for their elder brother. October 2004, in Hubei town, Hubei Province, a woman murdered a 12-year-old girl and sold her to a family wanting to conduct a ghost marriage for 23,800,000 VND. May 2007, in Lam Chng district, Hammond City, a farmer killed 6 young girls and sold them to villagers nearby, earning over 20 million VND. According to statistics, the price of ghost brides has increased 30-fold over the past 20 years. With this trend, how much further will it escalate? Such thoughts are scarce, and the mindset is foolish. Red envelopes. In the lunar July, known as the month of wandering souls, it's common to see people burning paper money, offering ghost cakes, and appeasing wandering spirits along the roadsides at night. The smell of incense lingering in the hot summer night breeze reminds me of an incident that occurred a few days ago. On a motorbike in Taiwan, a man suddenly found a red envelope, causing him great confusion. For those who don't understand, finding such an envelope may seem like good luck, but for those who know its significance, it's chilling. Taiwan has a custom where if a young woman dies unmarried, her family will find a match for her. The family will place a red envelope on the road containing cash, paper money, hair, or fingernails of the deceased, a different form of ghost marriage. The man who finds the red envelope will be responsible for the deceased woman. Refusing this responsibility will bring misfortune. This is an extreme superstition. Although it has diminished nowadays, it still exists, and in some places, it's even more serious. As soon as July arrives, a few ghost marriages ceremonies take place. Are ghost marriages meant to appease wandering spirits or to comfort the living? According to customs in some areas of SNT, unmarried girls who die young are not buried in the ancestral tomb, angering the ancestors. This is because the belief passed down from ancient times holds that family members who have married after death continue to protect the entire family. Spirits without spouses will turn into evil spirits, disturbing the living and preventing them from finding peace. So in SNT, whenever a family had an unfortunate son who died prematurely, the parents would seek a female corpse for an underworld marriage, wherein they would arrange for their son to marry the deceased woman, and both bodies would be buried together, effectively uniting them in the afterlife. Apart from this primary reason, there were other motivations for seeking underworld marriages. Those who frequently shared the same strange dream or encountered continuous misfortunes would seek out a geomancer to interpret their dreams. The geomancer would often suggest that their ancestors had an unfulfilled need, an empty grave, and before their souls turned into malevolent spirits, they needed a ghost marriage to appease them. Upon the geomancer's advice, they would hastily return home to examine their family genealogy, assisting the restless ancestor in finding a suitable spouse. If they couldn't find any solitary ancestors in their family tree, they would blame the incomplete record-keeping of their genealogy. If one wanted to arrange a ghost marriage, how would they find a female corpse? First and foremost, they needed a source of corpses. Corpses were divided into two categories, fresh and dried. To acquire a fresh corpse, they would often stake out hospitals. Suppose there was a critically ill girl nearing death, they would gather from all directions at the hospital, competing to buy her corpse. A fierce battle for the body would ensue, often resulting in the girl being whisked away before her last breath. Those successful in securing a corpse would return home to await news of the girl's passing. Due to the limited supply of female corpses, countless eyes were fixed on hospitals. Inside, hospital staff would provide updates on the condition of the patients or those nearing death to interested parties. According to a report by a China news weekly, a successful transaction could fetch a red envelope worth 2,000 to 3,000 yuan, while an unsuccessful one might still yield 500 yuan. Remember to report back next time. If they couldn't purchase a corpse through official channels, those in need would turn to the black market for underground transactions. Most of the supplied corpses were stolen from graves or obtained through robbery. According to media reports, in 2015, in Hngng district, Lam Phn town, Hubei Province, locals reported 14 stolen female corpses. It's not difficult to guess that most of these female corpses were resold and became demon brides. Apart from underground transactions, many thieves boldly switched to public transactions. They disguised themselves as folk archaeologists, ostensibly trading in antiques to conceal their true activities, illegally distributing corpses. Even if the buyers were unaware of the unknown background of the female corpses, they turned a blind eye for the sake of ghost marriage. The demand and mutual benefit further fueled the ghost marriage trend. Ghost marriage was a customary practice, but due to its financial transactions, it gradually became a demon bride market. Female corpses turned into commodities with clear price listings. Hence, after finding a suitable female corpse, all that was left was to negotiate the price. The price of female corpses is influenced by various factors such as age, appearance, freshness, and family background. Essentially, beautiful, delicate corpses with good family conditions are the most valuable, often fetching up to $100,000 or even more. In some places like Sun Tay, the phenomenon of young people dying from collapsing coal mines is prevalent. Furthermore, the imbalance of gender ratios in rural areas leads many families unable to find suitable female corpses, increasing demand without sufficient supply, thus driving the price of female corpses to exorbitant levels. A report on and investigating the phenomenon of ghost marriages in China published in a China News Weekly reveals that in the early 1990s, the cost for a ghost wedding ceremony was around 5,000 yuan, which soared to 50,000 yuan at the beginning of this century. In 2010, it continued to increase to 100,000 yuan, and by 2016, even spending 150,000 yuan couldn't secure a suitable corpse. Faced with immense profits, evil deeds gradually emerge. Aside from the aforementioned method of stealing corpses, there's another method that infuriates people, killing living individuals and selling their corpses. A typical case occurred in April 2016 when a man in Tuc killed two mentally ill women, brought their bodies to Thiem Tay for ghost marriage, to gain illicit benefits. If you search the keyword ghost marriage on the Chinese internet, from 2009 to 2015, there were a total of 34 cases, with 23 cases related to criminal cases occurring in places like Thiem Tay, Sun Tay, and Tuc. These cases spanned across 8 provinces including Hubei, Jiangsu, Shandong, Hainan, and Heilongjiang. The Chinese place great importance on rituals, even in death. Marrying the deceased is considered a legitimate marriage, and rituals are indispensable. After reading the entire process, do you feel chilled? Despite the enlightenment, despicable acts still quietly occur. Ghost marriage is just one of them, with many crimes still hidden in the darkness that you cannot clearly see.